Chapter 44 Smile More. Sometimes your joy is the source of your smile, but sometimes your smile can be the source of your joy. Thich Nhat Hanh, smile. Even if you don't feel like it, smiling improves the quality of your life, health, and relationship. If you don't do it already, start to smile consciously today. Although I can confirm the study is cited in many self-help books and blogs that 4 to 6 years old children laugh 300 to 400 times a day, an adult only 15. It might well be true. Just take out personal experience with kids, and honestly, it fits very well with the result of the study. What is confirmed is that laughing and smiling is extremely good for your health. Science has demonstrated that laughing or smiling a lot daily improve your mental states and your creativity. So laugh more. My wife and I make it a point to watch at least 1 hour of comedy or fun stuff a day and laugh until tears roll down our cheeks. We feel a lot better and full of energy since we started this habit. You should try it too. A study by Tara Kraft and Sarah Pressman at the University of Kansas demonstrated that smiling can alter your stress response in difficult situations. The study showed that it can slow your heart rate down and decrease stress level even if you are not feeling happy. Smiling sends a signal to your brain that things are alright. And just try it the next time you feel stressed or overwhelmed and let me know if it works. If you think you have no reason at all to smile, hold a pen or a chopstick with your teeth. It stimulates a smile and might produce the same effect. If you need even more incentive for smiling, search for the study by Wine University on smiling, which has found a link between smiling and longevity. When you smile, your entire body sends out the message, life is great, to the world. Studies show that smiling people are perceived as more confident and more likely to be trusted. People just feel good around them. Further benefits of smiling are releases serotonin, make us feel good. Releases endorphin, lower blood pressure, increases clarity, boosts the functioning of your immune system, and provide a more positive outlook on life. Exercise for the next 7 days. Stand in front of a mirror and smile to yourself for a minute, 1 minute. Do this at least 3 times a day and observe how you feel. Chapter 45 Stop power napping. When you can't figure out what to do, it's time for a nap. Mason Coley, one of my absolute favorites, and at the same time, it's scientifically proven that a power nap at midday re-energizes, refreshes, and increases productivity. For me, it was an absolute eye-opener during my worst stressful period at work when I was close to burning out because the stress and client treat and complaints were getting unbearable. I started taking a power nap and the change was extraordinary. I was far less stressed and a lot calmer while hearing, complaining, and finding solutions. For a while, I slept for 25 to 30 minutes on a bench in a park close by, and later I just put 2 chairs together in the office and slept there. It felt as if my working day suddenly had two halves, and midday was half time. I started the second half, always fresh and also perform a lot more productive because the typical tiredness after lunch between 2 and 5 p.m. was gone. Are you going to try power napping when you will you start? Chapter 46 Read for half an hour for each day. The man who does not read has no advantage over the man that can read. Mark Twain, the man who does not read has no advantage over the man that can read, says Mark Twain. If you read for half an hour a day, that's 3.5 hours a week and 182 hours a year. That's a lot of knowledge at your disposal. One of my first writing goals during my coaching training was to read more. That was at the time that I hadn't read a book for years. Now I'm devouring an average of 2 books a week. I studied more in the last 6 months than in the whole 15 years before, including my international business studies, so always have a book with you. If you substitute the habit of watching TV or even worse, the news by reading a good book, just before going to bed, you will derive your additional benefit of peace of mind. Another side effect is that you increase your creativity. So what are you waiting for? Make a list of 6 books that we'll read in the next 3 months. If you don't know what to read, check out my web page for recommendation, but make that list now. Chapter 47. Start saving. Personally, I tend to worry about what I save, not what I spend. Paul Clitori. This one is taught by all the wealth gurus. I read it the first time many years ago while reading Thalani Dainer book. Coach yourself to success. This single advice changed really everything for me and was the basis for leaving my job and following my dream many years later. Once you have saved enough living expense for 9 months to 1 year, things start changing. This is a huge advantage. For example, you stop depending on your boss' mood. You can stand up for yourself and say, if you have problem with my work, just tell me. If at your current job people are not respecting your boundaries or even harassing you, in the worst case, you can even quit your job and find another one, or take a sabbatical. Furthermore, you are not desperate when you are going to job interviews because you don't need a new job that badly. As a coach, for me, it was and still is important to always have a reserve so that I have the freedom to work only with my ideal client and can afford to say no to clients that are not a fit. Working out of a need for money surely wouldn't bring us good result. Having a reserve of 9, 12, or even 18-month salaries save up just takes a lot of stress off and makes you feel a lot more secure and give you peace of mind. To start saving, you have to spend less or earn more. Most of the time, it's easier to cut down your spending and take a look at where your money is going. The best way is to automatically deduct the sum from your account in the beginning of the month and put it into the saving account. Questions: will you give it a shot? When will you start saving? Chapter 48. Forgive everybody who has wronged you. The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. Mahatma Gandhi. People can be more forgiving than you can be imagined, but you have to forgive yourself. Let go of what's bitter and move on. Bill Cosby. Forgiveness is crucial along your way towards success, fulfillment, and happiness. Personally, I needed a long time to learn this. Why forgive someone is if the person did me wrong and it's only their fault? This sort's answer, it's a selfish act. You are doing it for yourself, not for the other person. This is not about being right or wrong. This is about you being well and not losing a lot of energy, anger and resentment, and even worse, reliving hate over and over again are huge energy drains. Who has sleepless nights? Who is full of anger and does not enjoy the present moment? You are the person you're not forgiving. Do you yourself a favor and let go. When a journalist asked the Dalai Lama whether he is angry at the Chinese for occupying his country, he answered, not at all. I send them love and forgiveness. It's of no benefit at all to be angry at them. It will not change them, but I could get an ulcer from my anger and that would actually benefit them. Adopt the attitude of the Dalai Lama toward the people who have done you wrong and see what happens. Let go, forgive the people that hurt you, forget them and move on. Be careful. If you say I forgive them but I don't forget, you are not forgiving. This doesn't mean you can't put limit on other behaviors or call them out on the spot, but afterwards understand the consequences and let go. Call up people that you have wronged or hurt and apologize. And if that's too uncomfortable, write them a letter. Above all, forgive yourself. When you learn to forgive yourself, it will be easier to forgive others. Just do it, the chance you will see. When you manage to forgive others and above all yourself are amazing. Action steps. Make a list of everybody that you haven't forgiven. Make a list of everything that you haven't forgiven yourself for. And 3, work on the list. Questions. What would your life be like if you accepted yourself just as you are without self-criticism? What would your life be like if you forgave yourself and others? Chapter 49. Arrive 10 minutes early. Well, We keep a man waiting. He reflects on our shortcoming. French proverb for punctuality is a sign of discipline and respect for others. Without it, you might come across as slightly offensive. Even if you are the nicest person in the world, of course, there are cultural differences. For example, while in Mexico and Spain, people are very relaxed about punctuality. In Germany, not being punctual is seen as highly unprofessional and might ruin your chance in any endeavor. Here is another great tip from telling me dinner books. Coach yourself to success, which I have made into a habit. Be punctual, not be especially polite. But instead for myself, this is because when I started being punctual, I noticed that those 10 times made those 10 minutes made me feel a lot better and gave me a lot of peace of mind. When I arrived at a place, it was not a rush, and I actually had 10 minutes to compose my thought and get used to the environment. And instead of feeling rushed, I felt very relaxed. I also feel very comfortable, professional, and polite when I arrive 10 minutes early. In fact, I don't feel uncomfortable when I arrive just one time. Try it and see for yourself if it adds to your life or not. Chapter 50. Speak less, listen more. When people talk, listen completely. Most people never listened. Ernest Hemingway. One of the most important tools of a coach, and also one of the most important lessons from my coaching training, is the ability and skill of active listening, or listening profoundly. Listening profoundly means to listen to the person in front of you while giving your full attention. It means to quit down the little voice in your head that comes up with advice and a solution 30 seconds after the person starts speaking. Many people are not listening to understand but to answer. They are just waiting for their counterpart to pause so that they can begin to speak. If you are rehearsing what you are going to say next, you are not listening. Don't interrupt. Let's listen. Let's listen until the person is finished. If you want to give advice, ask for permission. Most of the time, the person who is speaking will come up with a solution. If you let her or him finish, try it. You might take your conversation and relationship to complete new level when people feel that they are listened to by you. Be a good listener. Chapter 51. Be the change you want to see in the world. Be the change you want to see in the world. Mahatma Gandhi, are you trying to change other people? I have got news for you. You cannot stop right now. You can't stop right now. It's impossible. You can't help people who don't want to get help, and you just cannot change other people. So stop wasting precious energy and start concentrating on what you can do. And that is being an example. Be the change you want to see in the world. Have you heard about the idea that other people are like a mirror of us? That means the things we don't like about them are often things we have to work on ourselves and or balance them out. When I was stuck, I always got mad at the lack of manners in young people who didn't offer their seats to elderly people on the train. Whenever I observed this, I used to start a negative inner dialogue about where the world is going. This can't be. The young people have no manners. Why should I get up? I'm 40 years old, blah blah blah. Until one day I stopped complaining about the young people and offered my seat. Man, that felt good. I'm not responsible for other people's behavior. I'm only responsible for my own behavior. So, by being an example, I win twice. Once by not having the inner thinking dialogue, and secondly because I feel like I did something right and that feels so good. And maybe I even serve as an example to somebody else to over his or her seat the next time. One of the greatest insights that my client have is when the shift from others have to change to what if I change? Maybe then the other also change. You can literally see the light bulb going on over their heads. You cannot change others. The only thing you can to do is accept them as they are and be the best example and person that you can be. Are you complaining about your partner, colleague, or spouse? Be the best colleague or spouse possible. Are you complaining about your employer? Be the best spouse possible. Do you want to be loved just as you are? Start with loving other people just the way they are. Questions. What do you want to change? Why not start with yourself? What will you do it differently? Chapter 52. Stop trying and start doing. Try not, do or do not. There is no try. Master Yoda, Star Wars, you can do yourself a huge favor if you stop using the word try. Throw it out of your vocabulary. Trying implies failure. What would you try rather have a person say to you if you put them in the charge of a task? I will try to get it done, or I will get right on it. Do or do not. When I was at the beginning of my coaching career, I found out quick that those of my clients who tried to do their homework usually didn't do it. Those who tried to find more time didn't find it. Those who tried to exercise 3 times a week didn't do it. From then on, when someone said to me, I will try, I asked them, will you do it or want it? Or won't you? There is no try. It's as Nike says, just do it. If you do it and it works, great. Well done. If you do it and it doesn't work, okay, let's have a look at it. What went wrong? Did you learn something from the experience? What can you change to get the result you want? Go again. Just try does not take you anywhere. I'm in a line with Master Yoda. Do or do not. Chapter 53. The Power of Affirmations. Here is the most significant fact. The subconscious mind takes any order given it in the spirit of the absolute faith and acts upon this order, although the order often have to be presented over and over again through repetition before they are interpreted by the subconscious mind. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. We already talked about the importance of positive self-talk. One very good technique is using affirmation by repeating positive statements many times a day. You convince your subconscious mind to believe them, and once more your subconscious mind is convinced, you start acting accordingly and attract circumstances into your life and see opportunities everywhere. It's important to state them positively and in the present so that your subconscious mind cannot differentiate between it if it's already true or only imagined. Affirmation too have to be personal, positively stated, specific emotional charge, and in the present tense. Here are some examples. Money comes to me easily and effortlessly. Opportunities come into my life right now. Speaking in front of a large audience is easy for me. I'm successful in my business. I'm healthy and fit. Use affirmation to attract the things you want in your life. The more you practice, the better you get. The first time you say, money comes to me easily and effortlessly, your inner voice will still stay. You're right. No way. However, after repeating it 200 times every day or for a week, you should have silenced your inner critical voice. Make your affirmations your permanent company. Repeat them as often as you like and have a look at what happens in your life. Nevertheless, there are some studies that claim that affirmation actually have negative effect. When your inner critic just does not get convinced, if you can see no benefit at all, try other technique like a subliminal tips or ask yourself other questions such as, why am I so happy? Why is everything working out? Noah St. John has written a whole book on the power of asking yourself the right questions. His book Affirmation might be able to help you. Chapter 54. Write it down 20 times a day. It's the repetition of affirmation that leads to belief, and once that belief becomes a deep conviction, things begin to happen. Muhammad Ali. The purpose of this exercise is to help you to hammer your desire into your subconscious mind until you actually believe it's true. Remember how your subconscious mind works. To create a new belief in your belief system, you have to repeat over and over again, even if this exercise gets boring. Go on writing. So, how does it work? Pick your statement, make it personal, start with the I am, make the statement positive, use present tense. For example, I am earning X thousand euros a year. Do this exercise first things in the morning. It's good to get a small booklet for it. You can enhance your result by doing the exercise twice a day, in the morning and just before going to sleep. Chapter 55. Stop making excuses. The only thing standing between you and your goal is the bullshit story you keep telling yourself as to why you can achieve it. Jordan Belfort. What happens When you start stepping out of your comfort zone due to fears and doubts, your mind comes up with the greatest excuses. It's not the right moment. I'm too young. I'm too old. It's impossible. I can't. And my favorite one, I have no money. Guess what people with money say? I have no time. Yes, but my case is different. You might say, no, it's not. Believe me, the right moment never comes. So you might as well start here and now, or wait forever. A crisis is always an opportunity. You are neither too young or too old. Do a search on the internet is full of stories of people who fulfill their dreams as an older age or start an enterprise at a young age. No money, or just spending it in the wrong place by buying a new TV or video game console instead of investing it in your training. The funny thing is people who work with a serious financial advisor or financial coach suddenly find money in the same way the same way as all of my clients who thought they didn't have phone time. Yes, but in my case is different. Well, you can keep telling what you can keep telling that yourself for some more time, or you get rid of the excuses once and for all and start taking actions. Because one thing if is for sure, if you keep doing what you are doing, you will keep getting what you are getting. So what is it going to be? Questions. What are you going to choose from now on? Excuses are focused actions. What are the excuses you are using to not change and stay in the same place? Chapter 56. Keep expectation low and then shine. Always deliver more than expected. Larry Page, this is another biggie and probably the best time management trick I ever learned. It changed my professional and private life in extraordinary manner and reduced stress at work to virtually zero. Most of my stress at work comes from deadlines and I work or we as an enterprise were always struggling, which meant days when our product was shipped to the client, which was fair every day in high season. Horrible and very stressful. We were always just in time, or sometimes maybe a couple of hours late, and I had to calm down an angry and sometimes hysterical client until I started to underpromise. I figured out that over 90% of our late delivery were just a questions of a couple of hours. So I got the permission of my boss and started my own delivery schedule that only I received access to. If production gave me a delivery date of April 5th, I told the client April stand, so if we deliver on the April 7th instead of angry client threatening to fine or sue us, I suddenly had an extremely grateful client that thanked me for delivering 3 days earlier. Within a short time, we reduced late delivery from nearly 15% to virtually 0%. Over the next 3 years, as it worked out so well, I started applying it to my whole life. When my boss gave me a project took 3 days, I told her I was going to need 5 days. If I had it completed after 4 days, I look great. I took a little longer, I was still on time. And without weekends at the office, if I knew I had to stay at work longer, I told my wife I will be at home at 9 p.m. Coming home at 8:30 p.m. I look like a hero. Careful here, this worked for me. My college who knew the trick always warned me that one day I could encounter an unpleasant surprise in the cupboard. Well, these are things we see in the movies. Chapter 57. Design Your Ideal Day. I will see it when I believe it. Dr. Wayne W. Dyer. This is the favorite exercise of many coaches and starting point for many coaching processes. Design your ideal day. What would you like your ideal life to be? What would you do if you had all the time and money in the world? Where would you live? Would you have a house or an apartment? What's your job? Who are you with? What are you doing? It's time to dream big again. Don't limit yourself. Imagine your ideal life vividly. How does it feel? Write it down in detail. By now you have learned about the power of writing things down. Write down exactly how you would like your ideal life to be. Have a special notebook or scrapbook for your ideal day or life creation. Many people even make a collage with photos that represent their dream or ideals and put it up somewhere where they can see it daily. Very important. Make it fun. It's very important to create a vision and have it in mind. So let's start. 1. No distraction. Sit down for an hour. Turn off everything. No cell phone, no radio, no television, no laptop. 2. Make it come alive. Describe everything. What time do you wake up? What kind of home do you live in? How is your health? Who is your surrounding you? What's your job? Remember, there are no limits. 3. Once a week, read your ideal day out with enthusiasm. Put a lot of emotion in it. Optimal. You can also tape record yourself reading out your ideal day with emotion and listen to it every night before you going to bed. Are you ready? Start writing out your ideal day right now. Chapter 58. Accept your emotions. Your intellect may be confused, but your emotion will never lie to you. Roger Ebert. Who is responsible of how you feel? You. Do you remember what we said about responsibility and choices? Do you remember that you are in control of your thoughts? Well, your emotion come from your thoughts. How? An emotion is energy in motion, a physical reaction to a thought. If you can control your thoughts, you are also capable of controlling your emotions. Can control your emotions. Don't be scared them. Your emotions are a part of you, but they are not you. Accept them. Every emotion has its function. Fear protect you. Anger follow you to defend yourself, put limits on, and show others what bothers you. Sadness allows you to mourn and identify a lack. Happiness allows you to feel greed. It's very important to be connected to your emotion and know how to express them and not to neglect them. Don't fool yourself and say, I am happy if you are not. Instead, analyze where the emotion comes from. Don't identify yourself with the emotion. I repeat, you are not your emotion. Become an observer and watch where your emotion lead you. Observe them and watch them pass by like the clouds on a blue sky. Accept them like you accept rainy days. When you look out of the window and it rains and you don't think that it will rain all the time now, do you? You accept the rain as a part of the meteorological climate. That doesn't mean that it rains all the time. You can do the same thing with anger, sadness, and fear. Just because they show up at one moment in time does not mean that they will be there forever. It helps to know that emotions are not bad or good, they just are. If you want to write something to get them out of your system, do it. They will pass. Emotions are messengers that we feel in our body. Listen to them. If you are hooked to an emotion, you are hooked to the past and you are losing the present moment. What is it you really need? Stop searching outside and start searching inside of you. Managing emotions. It's the skill to perceive, use, understand, and manage emotion. You can use this on yourself or on others. 1. Perceive and express emotion. Permit yourself to feel it. 2. Facilitation of feeling. How can I feel a different emotion? 3. Understanding. Why is this emotion coming up? 4. Emotional attachment. Now I know why the emotion was felt, blah blah blah. Once again, everything is a question of attitude, acceptance of reviews or refusal. You choose. Advantages of managing of emotion. You recover better and faster from problems and setbacks. You achieve better and consistent professional performance. You are able to prevent those tension from building up that destroy your relationship. You govern your impulses and conflicting emotion. You stay balanced and serene even in the critical moment. The first step toward get there is to identify your emotion and to explore them, which means to permit their expression and then analyze the problem that provoked them. Connect and talk to the emotion. Breathe, relax, and relieve the situation. Questions. Can you spot a negative emotion? What symptom do you feel and in what part of your body? How do you feel? Be precise. Chapter 59. Do it now. You cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today. Abraham Lincoln. Only put off until tomorrow what you are willing to die having left undone. Pablo Picasso. Listen to Dr. Wine Dyer when he says, "Go for it now. The future is promised to no one." And write an email. The old friend you want to reconnect with, the time you want to spend with your family. Don't put it off anymore. Do yourself a favor and stop the procrastination. It only causes anxiety, and most of the time you will find that things that you procrastinated for days causing you anxiety and a bad conscience are actually done in an hour or so, that afterward you feel so much lighter because you can forget about it. Procrastinating is avoiding something that should be done. It's putting things off hoping and they magically get better without actually doing anything about them. But things don't get better on their own. Most of the time, the cause of procrastination is gone. It's some kind of fear: fear of rejection, fear of failure, even fear of success. Another cause is feeling overwhelmed. We procrastinate in three different ways: doing nothing instead of what we are supposed to do, doing something less important than what we should be doing, and three, doing something more important that we are supposed to do. As a freelancer and owner of his time, my client Mark struggled with the procrastination a lot. It caused him a lot of anxiety and even caused him some sleepless night. It was always the same pattern. He procrastinated and felt burdened and anxious. In our coaching session, he admitted that some of the stuff that causes this anxiety, he could actually finish in 1 hour. He became aware of that he was paying a high price for procrastinating, and in the future, when tempted to procrastinate, he decided to ask himself, what price will I be paying for procrastinating this task? Is it worth it to be burdened and buy and lose my sleep over a task that I could have finished in 1 hour or 2 hours? So do whatever it is that you have on your mind right now. Don't start tomorrow or next week. Start now. Questions? What are you procrastinating? Are you productive or are you just being busy? What is really important right now? Answer it by yourself. Chapter 60. Fake it till you make it. If you want the quality, act as if you already have it. William James. Act as if. Act as if you have already achieved your goal. Act as if you already have the quality of life, the lifestyle, the job, and etc. If you want to have more self-confidence, act as if you already have it. Speak like a self-confident person, walk like a self-confident person, have the body posture of a self-confident person. Your subconscious can differentiate between reality and imagination. Use this to your advantage by acting as if you already have the strength and character trait and etc. In neuro-linguistic programming and coaching, this is called modeling. A good way to become successful is to observe and copy already successful people. Use this for any character trait you want. Start acting as if and see what happens. Fake it until you make it. Questions: which quality do you want? How would you act if you already had the quality? How would you speak, walk, and behave? Chapter 61. Change your posture. Act the way you would like to be, and soon you will be the way you would like to act. Bob Dylan. This is an exercise taken from neuro-linguistic programming, which proclaimed that changing your posture also changes your mind. People I tell this to usually think that I'm joking, but before writing this off as nonsense, try it out. When you feel sad and depressed, you usually look at the floor, keep your shoulder down, and adapt the posture of a sad person, right? Now try the following just for a moment. Stand upright, shoulders up, chest out, and hold your head up high. You can even exaggerate it by looking up chest. How does it feel? If you smile, laugh, and walk with your head held high, you will realize that you feel a lot better. It's impossible to feel sad walking around like that, isn't it? And there has been more research conducted on this subject. A study by Brian, Pitti, and Wagner in 2009 found that people who were sitting straight had higher self-confidence than people sitting slumped over. There is also an amazing TED Talk by Amy Cuddy called "Your Body Language Shapes Who You Are." About the research they did together with Diana Kearney at Harvard University, the study has shown that holding power posture for 2 minutes creates 20% increase in testosterone, which boosts confidence, and 25% decrease in cortisol, which reduces stress. Imagine this. If you have an important presentation, reunion, or competition, just take on a posture and non-confident person for 2 minutes. Put your hands on your hips and spread your feet, or lean back in the chair and spread your arms. Hold the posture for at least 2 minutes and see what happens. Watch Amy Cuddy's TED Talk. Chapter 62. Ask for what you really want. Ask and you shall receive. Matthew 7:7. Just ask. It's far better to ask and get rejected than not to not ask and go along with the tough. If I had only asked, ask for a better table in a restaurant, ask for the upgrade at the airport, ask for the salary raise you have been waiting for. Asked. You already have the no for an answer, but maybe you will see some surprise. If you ask, you at least have the opportunity to get what you want. Ask your loved one for what you want, your boss, your friends. Don't expect them to read your mind. Think about it. Are there many things that hurt us based on the too high expectation that we had? This happened to me mostly in my romantic relationship. I was disappointed many times because my love interest was not for what I wanted. Another example is our boss. We are putting into so much work and are waiting for this rise for a promotion to come, but it doesn't come. Ask for it. What's the worst thing that could happen? You already don't have it. You already haven't gotten the rise or the promotion. If you don't ask, it will surely stay like this. If you ask, you will at least get an answer and know where you are at. When you ask, keep the following things in mind. Ask with the expectation to receive. Know that you can receive it. Remember to keep your thoughts, feeling, and inner dialogue positive. Ask the person who is in charge. Be specific. Ask repeatedly like you did when you were a kid. Action steps. Write a list of all of the things that you want and don't ask for. 2. Start asking. Work on it. Chapter 63. Listen to your inner voice. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein already knew about the great gift our intention can become for us. Listen to your inner voice. Go with your hunch. It's not easy to distinguish your intuition from the other. A little voice in your head, the one that comes from irrationally and often tells you what you should do or can't do. You will need to practice a little. Start with a little thing, for example, which route to take to work each morning, or whether to take your sunglasses with your although it's a totally cloudy day. I remember practicing my intuition when I went to high school. There were 2 ways to get to school and both had a train crossing the trains coming from different directions. I made a game to consult with my inner voice which way to go, sometimes following the intuition, sometimes going against it, just to get it to stop in front of the closed train crossing. Some weeks ago, I was driving on the German Autobahn and I had 2 options to get to my destination. I wanted to take one route, but I had a very strong hunch to take the other one, even though it looked very crowded. 30 minutes later, I heard on the radio that there was a 25-kilometer traffic jam on the other Autobahn. We would have been stuck right there. I thanked my inner voice right away. You probably already have experienced intuition. Did it ever happen to you that you thought of a person and just a second later the phone rings and it's that person? Or you think of somebody and a minute later you run into them at the shopping center? The more we practice and trust in the inner voice, the stronger it gets, the more results you are going to see, and the easier it will be to distinguish from the other little rational voice in your head. It's amazing. Meditation has proven to be a great tool to get closer to your intuition. Just sit still for 5 or 10 minutes and listen to what's coming up. Once you have learned to listen to your intuition, act on it immediately. It can be a hunch to write an email or to talk to somebody. If it comes in the form of an idea, act on the idea. Chapter 64. Write in your journal. Everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself. Leo Tolstoy. I wouldn't miss this exercise for the world. An important exercise that I recommend to all of my clients. Have a journal and reflect on your days. This is about taking a couple of minutes at the end of your day and take a look at what you did to get well. Get some perspective, relive the happy moment, and write everything down in your journal. By doing this, you will receive an extra boost of happiness, motivation, and self-esteem every morning and evening. It has the positive side effect that just before sleeping, you will be concentrating your mind on positive things, which has a beneficial effect on your sleep and your subconscious mind. Your focus is on the positive thing of the day and gratitude instead of the thing that didn't work well, which probably will keep you awake. And by now, you know how crucial that is. For my client and also for myself, the little exercise has led to enormous changes in your well-being. Make an effort to answer the following questions each night before sleeping and write them in your journal. What am I grateful for? What three things have made me happy today? What three things did I do particularly well today? How could I have made the day even better? What is my most important goal for tomorrow? Don't worry if the words don't flow right away when you start this exercise. Like all other things, your journaling will get better with practice. If you are blocked and can't think of anything, just hold on for 5 minutes longer. Write what comes to mind without thinking it, and don't judge it. Don't worry about yourself or mistakes, just write. Do this every day for a month and observe the changes that take place. A regular notebook or a calendar should do. I'm using a lovely little book called the 5-Minute Journal. Have a look at it. Chapter 65. Stop winning. Never tell your problem to anyone. 20% don't care and the other 80% are glad you have them. Low holds. It's better to light one small candle than to curse the darkness. Confucius complaining is a poison in your desire to become happier. It's an absolutely useless behavior that encourages self-pity and does not accomplish anything. Complaints are not attractive at all. It's the mentality of a victim, and it's not your in anymore, is it? Stop cursing the darkness and light a candle. Stop complaining about not having time and get up an hour earlier. Stop complaining about your weight and start exercising. Stop blaming your parent, your teacher, your boss, the government, the economy, and take responsibility for your life. It's nobody's fault that you go on smoking, that you eat unhealthy food, that you give up on your dream, but your own. It's you who pushed the snooze button instead of getting up half an hour earlier and who chooses fear over risk. Don't blame others for not living a satisfying life. You own your life. You can do anything you want with it. The sooner you get this, the sooner that you can move on in the direction of your dreams. Remember where to keep your focus. Complaining about your present circumstances will put your focus on them and attract more of what you don't like. You have to get out of the vicious circle and concentrate on what you want instead. Look inside yourself, encourage your positive ambition, and you will to succeed. Now go and create the circumstances you want. Start taking decisions and start living. Action step 1. Make a list of your complaints. 2. What have your complaints achieved? 3. Transform your complaints into requests. Chapter 66. Become a receiver. I can live for 2 months on a good compliment. Mark Twain. Do you find it difficult to accept a gift or a compliment? Well, this stops now. You have to become a receiver. It's very important to accept given things with joy, and it's also the secret to getting more of what you want. If you get a present and you are saying, "Oh, that's not necessary," you are taking away the joy of giving a gift from the other person, and the same thing goes for a compliment. Take a closer look at this behavior. Is there a hidden feeling of, "I don't deserve this," or "I'm not worth it"? behind it that's not necessary. There is no need for justification. Don't diminish the pleasure of giving for the other person. Just say, thank you. From today on, I dare you to practice your receiving skill. If somebody gives you a compliment, accept it graciously with a thank you. Own it, don't return it. You may say, thank you, I'm happy you feel that way, and let the other person enjoy the experience. It will help you a lot and take your self-esteem to a whole new level. If you manage to eradicate the following behaviors: rejecting compliment, making yourself small, giving credit to others although you have earned it, not buying something nice because you think you don't deserve it, looking for the negative if someone does something good for you. Action steps. From now on, just say thank you for every gift and compliment you receive. Don't explain or justify. And then analyze if you have any of the 5 behaviors mentioned above. If yes, work on it or them. Chapter 67. Stop spending time with the wrong people. Whatever you do, you need courage. Whatever course you decide to upon, there will always be someone to tell you that you are wrong. Ralph Waldo Emerson's. The person who says it can be done shouldn't interrupt the person who is doing it. Chinese proverb. Watch who you are spending your time with. Jim Rohn said that you are the average of the 5% you spend the most time with. So, you better take this seriously. Choose to spend more time with people who bring out the best in you, who motivate you, who believe in you. Be around people who empower you. Remember that emotion and attitude are contagious. People around you can be the springboard to motivate yourself, gain courage, and help you take the right actions. But on the other hand, you can also drag you down, drain your energy, and act as a brake in the achieving of your life goals. If you are around the negative people all the time, they can convert you into a negative and cynical person over time. They might want to convince you to stay where you are and keep you stuck because they value security and don't like the recent uncertainty. You stay away from the naysayers, the blamers, the complainers, the people who are always judging or gossiping and talking about everything. And as Steve Jobs said at the famous Stanford address, don't let the noise of the opinions of others drown your own inner voice. It will be difficult for you to grow and thrive if people around you want to convince you of the contrary. And what do you do if it's people close to you? The only thing you can work on is becoming a better person yourself. If you grow and develop, soon negative people will turn away from you because you don't serve their purposes anymore. They need somebody who shares their negativity, and if you don't do that, they will look for somebody else. If that does not work, you seriously have to ask yourself the question if you should start to spend less time with them or stop seeing them at all. But that's a decision you have to make. In my whole never regret it, although it was not easy. After my own coaching training, when I reversed all the principle and that you are learning in this book and change myself. Some of my colleagues had no other explanation than actually thinking that I had joined a sect. Action step. Make a list of all of the people you have in your life and are spending time with, like members of your family, friends, colleagues, and then analyze who is positive for you and who drags you down. Spend more time with the positive people and stop seeing the toxic people, blamers, complainers in your life, and at least spend less time with them. Just to be around positive people who support you and watch Steve Jobs' Stanford commencement address. Chapter 68. Live your own life. Your time is limited, so don't waste it in living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the result of the other people thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinion drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuitions. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. Steve Jobs. Actually, the Steve Jobs quote already says everything. It's difficult to add something to his wise words. Live the life you want and not the life other people expect of you. Don't worry about what your neighbors or other people think of you, because if you care too much about what they say, there will be the moment when you don't live your own life anymore, but the life of other people. Listen to your heart, do the thing you want to do, and not necessarily those things that everybody else does. Have the courage to be different. Paulo Coelho reminds us, if someone is not what others want them to be, that others become angry. Everyone seems to have a clear idea of how other people should lead their life, but none about his or her own. Action step. In what aspect are you not living your life right now? Make a list. Chapter 69. Who is number one? No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Eleanor Roosevelt, love yourself like your neighbor. Many times you see the good in others and fail to see in yourself. The most important relationship that you have in this life is the one you have with yourself. If you don't like yourself, how can you expect others to like you? How can you expect to love others if you don't love yourself first? We are going to work on your most important relationship. Most of the problem my client come to me for depend directly for off or indirectly on self-confidence. The salary rise, they don't get the appreciation, they don't get the relationship, they don't find. So I usually work with them on their self-confidence by working toward their goal. How do you gain more self-confidence? First of all, accept yourself as you are. You don't have to be perfect or to be great. Learn to spend time with the most important person in your life. You. Enjoy going to the movies with the best company you can imagine. You. French writer and philosopher Blaise Pascal says all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. Dr. Wine adds, you cannot be lonely if you like the person you are lonely with. Get some comfortable with spending some alone time. Find a place where you can disconnect from the speed of everyday life. It can't be mentioned often enough. Accepting yourself is the key element of your well-being. Chapter 70. Your best investment. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Benjamin Franklin. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. Derek Bok. The best thing you can do for the further personal and professional growth is to invest in yourself. Commit yourself to becoming the best person you can be. Invest around 5 to 10% of your income in training, books, CDs, and other ways of personal development. Stay curious and eager to learn new things and better yourself. A nice side effect of investing in your personal growth is that while you become a wiser person, you might also become more valuable for your company. There are so many possibilities. You could learn training that improve your negotiation skill, time management, financial planning, and much more. In a 2 or 4 hour workshop, you can learn powerful strategies of tools that transform your life. Or you can decide to go all in and get a life coach and really start working on yourself. One of my best investments in myself ever was hiring a coach. Helped me to get unstuck, get clear about what I really want to my life, and change my relationship with fear completely. You can also start in a less expensive way by reading or listening to a series or a course. I made it a habit to read at least one book a week, buy a new course every 2 months, and sign up for at least 2 seminars or training a year. What are you going to do? Remember that baby steps count too. Action step. Write down what you will commit to in the 12 months. I will read blah 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 book and listen to amount of learning CDs or audiobook per month. Sign up for blah 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 trainings in the next 6 months. Date, signature. Chapter 71. Stop being so hard on yourself. Because one believes in oneself, one doesn't try to convince others. Because one is content with oneself, one does not need others' approval. Because one accepts oneself, the whole world accepts him or her. Lao Tzu. It's easy to fall into the habit of self-criticism because of past mistakes or because things didn't work out as we wanted them to. But does it serve you? No, nada. Zip. It's time you to accept something here. You are not perfect. You never will be, and the best thing is you don't have to be. So once and for all, stop being so hard on yourself. This is one of the top reasons that prevents people from living a happy and fulfilled life. Did you know that a lot of misery we have in our life is because we subconsciously think we have to punish ourselves for something? I am glad I left the habit of exaggerated self-criticism and self-punishment behind a long time ago. I just curious that I'm doing the best that I can at any time. That doesn't mean I don't analyze the many mistakes I made. If I can correct them, I do. If I can't correct them, I accept them, let go, and promise myself not to repeat them. Because I know it's only a problem if I keep repeating the same mistakes over and over again. Is that too difficult? Do you want to know? The magic recipe. It's not for sale in any pharmacy and it's free. Ready? Accept yourself as you are, forgive yourself, love yourself, take extremely good care of yourself, and that's easy. Easy, isn't it? Start now. Ask yourself the following questions. In what areas of your life are you being too hard on yourself? What benefits do you get from being too hard on yourself? Chapter 72. Be authentic self. We have to dare to be ourselves, however frightening or strange that self may prove to be, my certain. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Ralph Waldo Emerson. The most successful people are the ones who are authentic. They are not playing any roles. They are who they are. What you see is what you get. They know their strengths and their weakness. They have no problem in being vulnerable and taking responsibility for their mistakes. Neither do they fear judgment of others. Don't let the world tell you who you are supposed to be. Your fake self is who you are when you want to please everyone else. That's when you have a mask on and are keen to get feedback from the people who surround you, such as colleagues, friends, neighbors, and etc. Do not play any roles. Stop thinking about what others want of you or might think of you, and give yourself permission to be your authentic self. The rewards are awesome. Funnily enough, you will notice that the more you are yourself, the more people will be attracted to you. Try it out. Questions. On a scale of 0 until 10, how would you quantify your level of authenticity? An 8? Congratulations, you are quite close. Keep on improving. A 4? Well, there is some work to do, but going through the exercise in this book, you will have you get closer. How many roles do you play? Who are you when you are alone? When was the last time you felt authentic? Chapter 73. Pamper yourself. You can change the way people treat you by changing the way you treat yourself. Unknown. This is one of my favorite exercises for my client. Write down a list of 15 things that you can do to pamper yourself and then do one of them every other day for the next 2 weeks. This exercise is truly miraculous. Example, read a good book, go to the movies, get a massage, watch a sunrise, sit by the water, and etc. Once you start treating yourself well, it will not do miracle for your self-confidence and self-esteem. Start doing it now. Chapter 74. Treat your body like the temple it is. To keep the body in a good health is a duty. Otherwise, we shall not be able to keep our minds strong and clear. Buddha is not ironic. If you listen to people, most of us say that health is the most important thing in our life. Nevertheless, many people drink, smoke, eat junk food, or even take drugs, and spend most of their free time on the couch without a physical activity. Remember, it's easy. A healthier life is only a decision away. Decide now to live healthier, follow a balanced diet, exercise regularly, and stay on. Get in physical shape so that your brain has all the nutrition it needs to produce a positive lifestyle. Take care of your body, because if the body is not well, the mind does not work well either. Here are some examples. Eat more fruit and vegetables. Reduce your intake of red meat. Drink at least 2 liters of water each day. Eat less. Stop eating junk food. Get up early. Action step. What will you do now for a healthier lifestyle? Write down at least 3 things. Chapter 75. Exercise at least 3 times a week. Those who do not find time for exercise will have to find time for illness. Edward Smith Stanley. I think I'm not coming to you with the breaking news here if I tell you how important exercise is for you. And even if we all know about the importance of exercise, there are many of us who just don't do it. The best excuses is always, I have no time. But what if somebody were to tell you that your life depends on it? And if you don't start exercising right now, you will be dead in a month. You'll surely find a time, wouldn't you? So time is not the problem. I also won't put a lot of work into convincing you how important exercise is and how you can find time, because you already know that. I will just list the benefit that exercising 3 to 5 times a week will bring you, and then if you want, you will find the time. 1. Exercising will keep you healthy. 2. Exercising will help you lose weight, which will improve your health and also make you look better. 3. Exercising will make you feel better and you will have a lot of energy. Once the kilos start dropping, there is a big chance that your self-esteem will go up. I cannot confirm that. 5. Pep problem with falling asleep. Exercise for 30 minutes a couple of hours before you go to sleep and see what it does for you. 6. Have you ever noticed that exercise significantly reduce stress? First of all, there are the endorphin, but the other thing is that you just might get your mind off the things that were stressing you out. Furthermore, studies show that the regular exercise makes you happier, can reduce the symptom of depression, reduce the risk of disease, heart diabetes, osteoporosis, high cholesterol, and etc., lower risk of a premature death, and improve your memory, and many more. Are you in? One last thing, don't force yourself to exercise, enjoy it. Look for a recreational activity that fits you and that you enjoy doing, such as swimming, for example. Even walking an hour a day can make a difference. Action step. Find some studies about the amazing benefit of exercise on the internet. When will you start exercising? If you think you don't have time, go back to the chapters about finding time. Chapter 76. Take actions, make things happen. Whatever you do or dream, you can begin it. Boldness has a genius and power and magic in it. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. I am only one, but I'm one. I cannot do everything, but I can do something. And I will not let what I cannot do interfere with what I can do. Edward Everett Hale. One of the secrets of success and happiness in life is to make things happen. Just talking about it is not enough. It's the result that counts, or as Henry Ford said, you can't build a reputation on what you are going to do. Without action, there are no results. Without result, there is no feedback. Without feedback, there is no learning. Without learning, we can improve. Without improving, we can develop our full potential. Seiki. Carl Jung. Said it correctly, you are what you do, no, not what you say you will do. There are too many people who want to change the world yet never pick up a pen to start writing a book or an article or do anything about it. It's a lot easier to complain about our politician than to start pursuing a political career or become more active in politics. Your life is in your hands, so start acting on your ideas. You don't have to go for a big challenge at once. By now you have learned that doing small things consistently on a daily basis can get you great results. Dare to do the things you want and you will find the power to do them. But by all means, start now. The biggest difference between people who reach their goals and people who stay stuck is action. People who reach their goals are doers who are taking action consistently. If they make a mistake, they learn from it and go on. If they are rejected, then they try it again. People who stay stuck just talk about what they are going to do and don't walk their talk. Don't wait any longer. The right moment never comes. Just start with what you have and go on one step at a time. Do as Martin Luther King Jr. said. Take the first step in faith. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. The first step. Just take the first step. Action step. What will you start today? Chapter 77. Enjoy more. The present moment is filled with joy and happiness. If you are attentive, you will see it. Thich Nhat Hanh. Real generosity toward the future lies in giving all to the present. Albert Camus. It's very important to enjoy the present moment. If you don't Then life goes by, you don't even notice it because you are never right here in the moment. When you are working, you think of the weekend, and the weekend you think of all the things you have to do on Monday. When you are eating the appetizer, you think of dessert, and when you're eating dessert, you think of the appetizer, with the result that you don't fully enjoy neither the one nor the other. And living like this, you never get to enjoy your point of the power, the only moment that counts. The present moment. Eckhart Tolle wrote an entire book about the power of now, which I highly recommend to you. Think about it. Do you have any problem right now, just being in the moment? Do you constantly live with guilt for your past action and with fear of an unknown future? Many people are constantly worrying about things in the past and they can change, or things in the future that, even funnier, mostly never happen, and meanwhile they miss out on the now. Or as Bill Cosby puts it, the past is a ghost, the future is a dream. All we ever have is now. Just be present and enjoy the journey. Action step. Remind yourself to be more in the present moment. My friend David wears his wrist watch on his right arm. This reminds him to be in the present moment whenever he watches his left arm for the time and notice it's not there. Chapter 78. Stop judging. Before you accuse me, take a look at yourself. Eric Clapton. Before you start pointing finger, make sure your hands are clean. Bob Marley. Judging goes hand in hand with the vice of blaming and complaining. On your way to the happier, more fulfilling life, that's another bad habit you have to leave behind. Accept others without judging them and without expectation. I know that's easier than done, but there is no way around it. Think of it this way. Each time you are judging somebody, you are actually judging yourself. It's not the truth that the things that bother us the most about others are actually the thing that bother us the most about ourselves. Action step. Make a list of what bothers you the most about others. Chapter 79. A random act of kindness every day. One of the most difficult things to give away is kindness. Usually it comes back to you. Anonymous. The smallest good deed is better than the grandest intention. Anonymous. How can you make the world a little bit better today and every day? Why not be nice to a stranger every day? Be creative. Every now and then I pay for 2 coffees instead of the only one that I drank and tell the server to save it, in case somebody needs it and can't pay for it entirely. In the supermarket, if I get a 18% discount voucher for my next shopping trip, I usually give it to the person behind me in line. You can offer your seat in the train or subway to somebody, or even just give somebody with a smile. Acknowledge people sincerely, treat great people, say thank you genuinely, hold the door open for somebody, help somebody whose hands are full to carry something, or store away somebody's heavy hand luggage on your next flight. Be creative, start today. The great thing is, what goes around comes around. So when you start doing random act of kindness, more kindness is coming back to you. Doing good begins to becoming the same thing as feeling good. The good that we do for others really does have the power to change us. If you want to improve the world, start with yourself. Be the change you want to see in the world. Do at least one random act of the kindness every day. Positively and significantly impact the life of other people. Pay it forward. Action step. Commit yourself to doing one random act of kindness a day for the next 2 weeks. Observe what happens, but don't expect anything in return. Chapter 80. Solve your problem, all of them. Most people spend more time and energy going around about problems than in trying to solve them. Henry Ford. Solve your problem, face them, because if you are running away from them, they will come after you. If you don't solve them, they will repeat themselves over and over again until you learn something and are ready to move on. For example, if you change jobs because of a problem with the college that you didn't face, in another job you may face the same challenge with another person. This will go on until you learn something out of the situation and solve the problem once and for all. Did you notice that you may continue to encounter the same set of problems in multiple romantic relationships until you stop and solve the recurring problems. Another giant waste of energy is to dance around problem and responsibility instead of somebody taking ownership and starting to solving problem. I hear this over and over again from my client. They procrastinate, they dance around the problem, and end up with a high level of anxiety and feeling really bad. Once they decide to go against all their fears and confront of to solve the problem, they feel much better and find out that it was a lot less painful to face the problem and solve it than the whole process of dancing around it. Stop searching for the solution to your problem out there and start looking for it within you. Questions: how can you be different? How can you do differently? What can you do to solve the problem? Action step: make a list of all your problems and start working on their solution. Examine your problem, look for patterns. Do the same thing happen to you over and over again. Chapter 81: The Power of Meditation. All of humanity's problems stem from a man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. Blaise Pascal. The benefits of meditation are widely known by now. More and more people have started practicing it. Its practitioners highlight its usefulness in calming the mind after a stressful day and in warding of anxiety, anger, insecurity, and even depression. Other studies point out that meditation can reduce blood pressure and pain response. It's an easy way of stress combat and quitting our information overloaded mind. Sitting still for 15 to 20 minutes once a day can already make a difference and help you to recharge. If you do it twice a day, even better. Here is how to begin your habit of daily meditation. 1. Look for a space where you won't be disturbed and just be in a silence for 15 to 20 minutes. Make it a ritual. It's beneficial to practice in the same spot and the same time every day. Do you remember the magic of the early morning hours? Maybe that's also a good time for your meditation. 2. Before you start, use the power of affirmation to get yourself in a relaxed state by saying, for example, I'm not focused and calm. Set your alarm clock for 20 minutes so that you are not worried about when to stop your meditation and can fully able to concentrate. 4. Sit or lie down and shut your eyes. You can also leave your eyes open and focus on one point in the room or on nature if you are sitting facing a window. 5. While focusing, concentrate on your breath and start relaxing. 6. When your mind wanders, let it wander. Don't resist. See your thoughts passing by like clouds in the blue sky and just empty your mind. See your mind still like a lake without the smallest ripple. Meditation for 20 minutes a day will surely provide you with great results once you have made it a habit. The 6 steps mentioned above are only a suggestion. Meditation can be done wrong and only you will know what works best for you. There is also a lot of information on the internet as well as classes and seminars that may be available close to where you live. The most important thing is, as everything in this book, to take actions. Try it out. Chapter 82. Listen to great music daily. Life is one great, sweet song to start the music. Ronald Reagan. An easy way to feel happy instantly is to listen to your favorite music. Make a soundtrack of your all-time favorite and listen to them dancing. It might feel stupid at first, but doing this every day will be beneficial. What are your top 5 favorite songs all the time? 1. IU. C. And then second, IU, Above the Time. 3. Classical music, Bach. And then yeah, a lot of that. Why not make a playlist on your iPod, phone, or PC and listen to them right now? Do it now. Come on. How did you feel after listening to your favorite songs? Any change in your mood? What would happen if you made this a daily habit? Chapter 83. No worries. If a problem is fixable, if a situation is such that you can do something about it, then there is no need to worry. If it's fixable, then there is no help in worrying. There is no benefit in worrying whatsoever. Dalai Lama. Many people are constantly worrying. They are worried about things that happened in the past that they can't change, things in the future that they have no influence over, or about the economy, wars, politics, which they have no control over. However, funnier that most of the catastrophe that you are worrying about turn out to be a lot less horrible in reality or just never happen. Mark Twain was right when he said, I have had a lot of worries in my life, most of which never happen. Keep in mind, it doesn't matter how much you worry, it will change neither the past nor not the future. Also, worrying usually does not make a thing any better, does it? Instead, it will drag you down and you will lose the present moment. Can you already grasp what a waste of time and energy worrying is, or shall I give you another example? This example is from Robin Sharma's book, Who Will Cry When You Die? A manager who did one of the exercises Robin suggests at his seminar identified the following: 54% of his worries were about things that would probably never happen. 26% were related to the past action that couldn't be changed. 8% were related to the other people's opinion, which he didn't even care about. 4% were a personal health question that he had already resolved. Only 6% referred to the question that needed his attention. Identifying his problem and dropping the ones he couldn't do anything about, or which were just draining energy. The man eliminated 94% of the worries that had tortured him so much. Action step. Make a list of your worries, which ones are related to the past, which ones are related to the future, which ones are outside your control, which ones can you actually do something about. Chapter 84. Use your travel time wisely. Time is what we want most, but what we use worse. William Penn. How much time are you spending every day in the car or public transport on your way to work? Statistics say it's between 60 and 90 minutes per working day. That means in a month we are talking between 20 to 30 hours. Who said, I don't have enough time? We just found you another 20 to 30 hours to read or listen to audiobook in your car. What if you really spend the time listening to Empower CDs, MP3s, or reading inspirational books instead of listening to the negative news from the radio or reading about it in the newspaper? Questions. Are you ready to try it out? When will you start? Do it for 2 weeks and let me know how your life changed. Chapter 85. Spend more time with your family. Family is not an important thing. It's everything. Michael J. Fox, Walt Disney once said. A man should never neglect his family for business, yet I have to dedicate an extra chapter to this one just to make sure that you don't skip it. It's kind of sad that I have to mention it, but when I interview leaders and executives, most of the time what comes up is that they just cannot spend a lot of time with their families. In Bronnie Ware's book, one of the top regrets of the dying is to not have spent more time with their families and having spent too much time at the office. Then become one of them and start making time for your family now. And if you are with the family, do everybody a favor and be fully with the family. During our vacation in the Florida Keys last year, I saw an absurd situation. A family was on the sightseeing walk with the father running ahead in the front, making a business phone call while the wife and daughter were following, looking kind of sad, which is understandable. It was even Sunday. It seemed like something taken out of the comic book, and yet it was very real and sad to see. Wake up! Value your family and friends. They are your constant source of love and mutual support, which increases your self-esteem and boosts your self-confidence. Questions. How are you going to find more time for your family? Use the time management tips in this book. What will you stop doing to find more time? Chapter 86. Don't be the slave of your phone. Men have become the tools of their tools. Henry David Thoreau. Going back to the busy father mentioned in the last chapter, this tip comes in handy. Don't always pick up your phone each time it rings. Your phone is supposed to be for your convenience, not for those who call you. Give yourself the freedom to continue what you are doing and let the call go to voicemail. Some time ago, I always got very anxious when I didn't take a call. I thought I had missed something. My roommate Paul was much cooler about it. He only answered the phone when he wanted to, when he felt like it, and if not, he just went on doing what he was doing without bothering. I started liking the idea and on adopting this Zen-like mentality telling myself that they will call again. I also learned that if it's a really important call, the caller will not give up and probably call 5 times within 3 minutes. Action step. Try it out. Don't be a slave of your phone and leverage voicemail. Chapter of 87. How to deal with problems. Every problem has in it the seeds of its own solution. If you don't have any problems, you don't get any seeds. Norman Vincent Peale. Do you have many problems? Congratulations. I'm not kidding. You have many opportunities to grow, because a problem is always an opportunity to grow by learning from it. So let's have a better look at this. Over 20 years ago, when I started working at Disney World in Orlando, we, the newbies, were taught that the word problem does not exist in the vocabulary of a Disney cast member. We don't have problems, we only have challenges here. Dr. Lair Ribeiro writes that your problems are your best friends, and leadership guru Robin Sharma asks us to see our problems as blessings. So what are your problems now? Challenges, blessings, friends, or all three of them? Isn't life just facing one problem after another? What makes all the difference is how you face it and how you learn from it. When you start learning from your problem, life gets much better. Look back at the problem you had in life. Didn't each one of it have something positive? Maybe a loss in business saved you from an even bigger loss because you learned from it. In hard times, it can be very beneficial for you to adopt the belief that life or God or the universe only puts a problem in your way if you are able to solve it. Questions. What problems do you have in your life right now that you haven't found a solution for yet? 2. Make a list of your problem. 3. What would change if you see these problems as challenges or even opportunities? How would it make you feel? Chapter 88. Take time off. There is more life than increasing its speed. Mahatma Gandhi. With the stressful, fast-paced life that we are living, it becomes even more important to slow down your pace of life and take a break. Take some time off. Recharge your batteries by being around nature. You can start by scheduling some relaxation time into your weekly schedule, which by now you are hopefully making time for. If you dare, start with weekend in which you are completely disconnected from the internet, TV, and your electronic games. One of my best vacation ever, if not the best, was being on a houseboat in the Midi Channel in the south of France. No mobile phone, no internet, no TV, only dark. The boat's stop speed was 8 km/h. Yeah, so you were literally forced to slow down. It's also due to the fact that when you are floating on the channel, children on their bikes overtake you on one side of the channel. The village you pass through are sometimes so small, and they won't even have a supermarket. So the whole trip comes down to the question, where will we get food? No worries, there is always a restaurant close by, and by the charming thing is to cook your own meals on the boat and have dinner at the harbor watching the sunset or just being around nature. Once time, we had dinner in the middle of a vineyard, priceless. So is to walk into a tiny French village in the morning and get your baguette for breakfast from the only bakery in the town. We got up at sunrise and went to bed to chess matches after sunset, or as my wife described it afterward, we got up with the ducks, went to sleep with the ducks. Take time off and connect with nature. It doesn't Chapter 89. Have a high like every day. I believe the key to happiness is someone to love, something to do, and something to look forward to. Elvis Presley. Don't let routine and boredom crawl into your life. Create things you look forward to after a hard day at work instead of just ending up in front of the TV every evening. Here are some examples. Take some alone time, go for a walk in the nature with your spouse, take a bubble bath, or have a spa day. Celebrate something, a good job, family life, call a friend, take somebody for lunch, get a message, go for a drink, go to the movies, theater, or concert, get a manicure or pedicure, movie night at home, watch a sunrise. Remember to reserve some time for your special moment in your schedule. Chapter 90. Step out your comfort zone. As you move outside of your comfort zone, what was once the unknown and frightening becomes your new normal. Robin Sharma. One can choose to go back forward safety or forward toward growth. Growth must be chosen again and again. Fear must be overcome again and again. Abraham Maslow. Have you ever heard of the saying, the magic happens outside of your comfort zone? But what the heck is the comfort zone? The following metaphor describes it very well. If you put a frog into a pot of boiling water, it jumps out. But if you put it into a pot and start heating up the water gradually, it doesn't react and dies by being boiled. And that's what happened to many people who are trapped in their comfort zone without even knowing it. Your comfort zone is the limit of your current experience. It's what you are used to doing, thinking, or feeling based on your current level of knowledge. It's where it's nice and cozy, and where we know most of the time exactly what is going to happen. It's where you live life on autopilot. It's also where change does not happen. Personality growth and development happen outside of your comfort zone. So if you want to change jobs, start an enterprise, be a creative, get out of a relationship that has stopped working, you have to step out of your comfort zone. Unfortunately, it's more comfortable when I was trapped in a job that I didn't like anymore, and I caught myself saying the entire time, well, it's not that bad, it could be worse. Who knows, maybe in another job I would be even worse off. And so I continue in a job that no more made sense to me day in and day out. On Monday I was already looking forward to Friday, and when I came back to my vacation I was already looking to the next one. Can you imagine that? I should have watched Steve Jobs' commencement address at Stanford some years earlier. Did you watch it yet? Jobs had a great technique. Each day he'll look at himself in the mirror and ask himself, if this was my last day on earth, would I do what I'm about to do today? And if he answered no to himself for too many days in a row, he changed. Be careful if you use that technique, because once you start asking yourself the questions, everything changes. When you step out of comfort zone and start to venture toward the unknown, you start to grow. You will start feeling uncomfortable and awkward. That's a great sign. That's actually a sign that you are growing and moving ahead. Act in spite of fear and doubt. Questions? How can you challenge yourself to step out of your comfort zone? Is there anything that makes you uncomfortable that you can do now? Chapter 91. What price are you paying for not changing? The price of doing the same old thing is far higher than the price of change. Bill Clinton. Another question that forced me out of my comfort zone when I was evaluating my situation was, what is the price you are paying for not taking actions? I was on the worst possible way to being seriously burned out. Of course, it was very risky to just walk away from my secure job without putting up a fight in the worst economic crisis that world had seen. But what was the price I was paying to say, serious health problems? No thanks. Buddy, I'm out of here. Since then, I never looked back. Many years ago, my boss at Volkswagen in Mexico came to me in the intern and said, Mark, I don't know what to do anymore. I'm close to a breakdown due to stress, but I'm on a 3 years expect contract, and if I break it, I will look book as a failure at the headquarters in Germany. What would you do? I told him, look, your health is the most important thing you have. If this job affects your health anymore, leave. Because if you get a heart attack and die, the people that are now giving you the worst time will say, what a great guy you were at your funeral in front of your wife and kid. I'm talking from my own personal experience. The people that harassed my father the most at his work actually wanted to speak at his funeral. Unbelievable. For I would hang in there and see what happens, because I really believe that life is a miracle. Everything happens for a reason, and in the end everything is always going to work out. 2 months later, he contacted me from Germany. He was still on his expat contract. However, he had returned to Germany and was working on a new project with a far better work condition. Life is a miracle. It always works out in the end. But there is always a price you are paying, and it's your decision if you want to pay it and live with the consequences. The price you pay if you want to get in shape is that you have to exercise. The price you pay for not exercising is getting overweight. If you want more time, the price is getting up an hour earlier or watching less TV. The price you pay for procrastination is anxiety and feeling bad. Choose your suffering wisely. Questions? Are you paying a price for doing the same old thing? Chapter 92. Things are only temporary. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect the looking backwards, so you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. Steve Jobs. It doesn't matter how slowly you go as long as you don't stop. Confucius. Everything is temporary. All triumphs, defeat, joy, sadness that happen in our life go by. What seems to be very important today is not important anymore in the month or 3 months. And what seems to be a disaster today can be a great learning experience 3 months from now. When I was jobless for over 9 months right after I finished in college, and I was rejected by I don't even remember how many companies, each one of my friends was pitying me, and most of all I pitied myself. But somehow deep down inside me I knew that all of the rejection is because something better is waiting for me. In the end, I started working in Barcelona, one of the most beautiful cities in the world, with lots of cultures, beaches, and fantastic climate, a great football team in about 300 days of pity to envy, and from poor Mark to lucky bastard. Look at life with a little more ease and sobriety, knowing that misfortunes pass, or as Rudyard clipping in a fantastic poem Eve says, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you will be a man, my son. Keep your attention on what you want and keep moving forward. Do you remember the saying? In 6 months we are going to laugh about it. Why not laugh already now? This phrase actually got me through my international business studies. I remember many nights before the exams, 3 a.m., a few hours before the exam, when I was totally stressed out in the dorm room of my friend George, on the verge of breakdown. And he always just laugh and say, Mark, in 6 months we are going to laugh about tonight. We actually even now, 20 years later, still laugh about the stories. Try this technique. I hope it helps you as it helped me. Action step. Think back on other times hard in your life and how you got out of it, and maybe even found something positive in it after some time. Mapping life. Make a timeline of your life from birth until now. Make every key event in your life on the line, all and any moment that changed your life. Write the great moment, the success above the timeline. Write the challenge, the tragedies, failure below the timeline. Examine the event below the line and write the positive effect on them above the line. Chapter 93. Get a coach. Make the most of yourself for what that is all there is for you. Ralph Waldo Emerson. After having a huge impact in business life, coaching is also becoming more and more available for private person in the form of life coaching. Many people have the wrong concept that you only take on a coach when something is wrong, but people like Eric Smith could actually take on coaches to get even better, or to have a neutral, objective partner with whom they can bounce back and forth their ideas and who keeps them grounded. A coach can help you to achieve clarity on what you really want in life, encourage you to keep going with you would normally stop, help set better and more rewarding goals for yourself, get results more easily and quickly, overcome fear, communicate much more effectively, experience a faster personal development, overcome self-sabotaging habits, find your true purpose, and to live aligned with your true values. During the coaching process, you will learn to take responsibility for everything in your life and take better decisions. Coaching achieves extraordinary results because you and your coach become a team, focusing on your goal and accomplishing more than you would do alone. You take more actions, think bigger, and get the job done because of the accountability of the coach provides. A coach knows how to help you to make a better decision, set the best goals, and restructure your professional life for a maximum productivity. Coaching work because it brings out the best in you. A coach is trained to help you find your own best answer and will support you in the course of that process. Coaching is usually done during regular weekly sessions by telephone, Skype, and in person, which lasts between 30 or 60 minutes. In every session, coach and coachee work on the coach's goal, creating options and setting a plan of action for the coach's next step. While working toward the coachee goal, the coach also work on the coach's personal development. You can find coaches, for example, in online directories of Coach U or the International Coach Federation. Most coaches offer complementary strategy sessions. That's how you and your coach get to know each other and find out if you are comfortable working together. Chemistry is crucial in a coaching relationship. There is no guarantee that coaching works. Your success depends on you. From my experience, I can say that the coaches that attend their sessions are committed to their coaching process and to their work and are being successful in their behind the force. That's why I even offer a 30 days money back guarantee based on some ground rules. Chapter 94. Live your life fully. Do it now. Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. Buddha. Most of us, we have all the time in the world. We are so busy going after the big pleasure of life that we forget about the small ones. When will you start to take better care of yourself? Start exercising, learn something new, do the thing you always wanted to do, spend more time with your family tomorrow, next week, next Monday, next month, when you win the lottery, when you have another job, when the next project is finished. Yeah, I know. There are so many other things you have to do right now. You just don't have time right now. A lot of people never discovered the meaning of life until it's too late and they are just about to die. Brownie Ware, an Australian nurse who accompanied the dying, wrote down the top 5 regrets. 1. I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life of others expected of me. 2. I wish I didn't work so hard. 3. I wish I would had the courage to express my feeling. 4. I wish that I had stayed in touch with my friends. 5. I wish that I had to let myself be happier. Don't wait any longer. Live your life fully now. Remember, the failure is only feedback. The problems are opportunities to grow. Do the things you always wanted to do. Don't postpone them any longer. Don't fight life and let it flow. Because as Paulo Coelho says, one day you will wake up and there won't be any more time to do the things you always wanted to do. Do it now. Steve Jobs put it in this way: remembering that I will be dead soon is the most important tool I have ever encountered to help me make the big choice in life. Almost everything, all external expectation, all pride, all fear of embarrassment or failure, these things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important. Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. You are already naked. There is no reason not to follow your heart. No one wants to die. Even people who want to go to heaven don't want to die to get there. And yet, death is the destination we all share. No one has ever experienced. Every day brings with the opportunity to move closer to what you want. Every day contributes to the end result. Don't let this opportunity pass. It doesn't take months or years to change your life. You change it step by step, day by day, starting now. The result, however, you will see for months and years. Do yourself a favor and start living now, not after the kids are out of the house, after you have finished the next project, after you have got the new car, after you have moved to the new house, or after you have got a better job. Don't be one of those people who say they don't have a time but spend 30 hours a week in front of the TV playing video game or going out drinking. Do the things you always wanted to do now. Make plans now. List 5 things you always wanted to do and set a date. Thank you.